Hey everybody, welcome to the Kaze-Kan Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Ed Tama23.
And I'm the co-host, Mean Mug,
And
bringing you disappointment everywhere. Well,
yeah,
except for two places.
yeah, I guess what that means is we're going to be talking about E3 this podcast. So, just for the record, I don't think we sat through the all of the presentations. I did not see anything of the PC one, E3. I didn't sit through the Ubisoft one, but I think as we all know, there's only like two things that people are really concerned about, and that was a specific character and FF7. But I guess I'll start off with what I remember seeing the first. Um, when I tried watching a little bit of the EA, while it was live, but the only thing interesting that they kind of like what made me go okay was the Star Wars game that they announced. But looking at it, it's a very bare bones like 3D adventure game. We have so many games nowadays that are open world or just really good combat, and this one doesn't seem to have any flair to it other than it being Star Wars. I think it's being developed by Respawn, the same guys who did Titanfall, which is kind of cool, interesting because I thought Titanfall 2 had a pretty good story concept wise, and Titanfall itself is a pretty interesting game, but I don't think that can warrant me purchasing a Star Wars game from them. But you know, overall, EA's just kind of been
You know they're gonna figure out how to do something wrong eventually.
yeah, but I was actually surprised that they got somebody else other than Dice, because that Dice was the one that did the Battlefront games. But I was kind of hoping they would have done something with. There was a scrapped Boba Fett project, if the bounty hunter from the prequels, in case anybody who listens to this doesn't know their Star Wars lore. But it was supposed to be like this crazy, like you hunt bounties and in this open world exploration game. I know that sounds generic, open world, but I mean around the time when it was like rumored, that would have been the best thing to come out from Star Wars as a game if it came out. But I heard the project was scrapped ever since Disney and everything with all that. But who knows? We might see something from it eventually. Maybe if this game is successful. But Microsoft was the only one that actually had games announced. But that's not saying much because it's
I
Microsoft.
mean, they had games, but when it came down to it, some of the games were more or this is usual stuff. I mean, because the only thing that really came as a surprise is the fact that they said Fantasy Star Online 2 was coming to the West, which I still don't believe.
Oh, it's coming to the West. It's
Nah,
just no,
nah,
no, 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 no,
it's
no.
not.
Hey, wait.
What's gonna happen is the date is gonna come by again, and then people are gonna say, "Where is it at? Where is it at?" And then they're gonna remain silent, and then it never happened.
No, no. What happened? No, this is gonna be real. They're gonna use the English unofficial English patch soft application thing that you use to install the English patch for Fantasy Star. What is it called again?
Tweaker. I still don't believe they will. And then even if they do, I'm fucked anyway because they saying that they you won't be able to
It's going to
play
be
with Japanese servers.
yeah, it's going to be the vanilla bare bones Fantasy Star online experience. None of the events
Which
that happened.
is it's all right, but right now, if you playing it in Japan like I am, they're 2 episodes behind where shit gets real good, where you have to do some Star Trek shit and raid battleships and whatnot.
Yeah, if Sega were to
I,
release this around the time, if they were to have an English dedicated English server that was up and ready around the same time, they could have been really good competition for Final Fantasy 14 because Fantasy Star, Warcraft, and Final Fantasy Online or 14 are the only three major MMOs that people will actually spend money to have a subscription service. Hey, lo and behold, guess what? Even though they announced it at Xbox, it's confirmed that they're still having the Western release for the PS4 and Switch. So, uh,
no, they said it was just Xbox and PC.
no, that's what they want you to. They just that's what happened with these E3s. It says it's going to be exclusive, but It's not. It's it's been confirmed by one of the guys who from Sega, but it's no different from the Vesperia getting announced on during Xbox.
I do know though. I do know that pain though, because apparently Europeans were pissed. Because it's like, really, we ain't getting it. It's like we play the shit too, but we ain't getting it. They just getting it.
Well, I mean, nobody cares about Europe. I'm kidding. In terms of market and gaming, if you're not Japan or the West, when they say the West, they obviously mean the U.S. And I'm not trying to brag or nothing. I'm just saying most of the time, if you don't have the U.S. or the Japanese market, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, I just looked it up. It was actually confirmed by Phil Spencer himself, the head of Xbox, saying, yeah, it is supposed to be released on other platforms. But there's no confirmation on the date, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to release it on the other consoles that I mentioned. But again, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bare bone experience because I just don't think they're going to do all the events that have happened, like the Persona 1 or any other events that I am not aware of because
I don't think that's another thing. I don't know if you'll be able to use they'll still have the costumes in the game and call them something else.
Yeah, who knows?
Because apparently what I'm hearing is in the Japanese version you have them, but they don't have international rights to them, so they won't be able to use them.
Yeah, so if anything, if the US gets a release, who knows? Maybe the Europeans will find a way, but I know they can play it with the unofficial tweaker, but as an official service, I don't think I see the Europeans getting
But
it.
on the bright side, it'll help. Like if they don't, like if it do come out, well, no, there's still no bright side because now I have to worry whether or not I'll be banned on the Japanese one.
Well, make sure nobody who works at Sega finds this podcast.
No, they already know everyone is on ship two that speaks English, so
Yeah, I'm kind of it's kind of cool that they've kind of been lenient on
I
you.
mean, the only question is like what they gonna do because apparently there's a story long time ago go about them having different servers, but they didn't really care about the different servers. But they focused a lot on their own servers instead of focusing on international ones. So yeah,
If
what I'm hoping for is it how they got it for right now to where you can play cross platform, but certain platforms can't play with each other. Like say for instance, Switch can play with PC, but Switch can't play with PlayStation, and vice versa. Like PlayStation
uh,
can play with PlayStation 4, Vita, and PC, but it can't play with the Switch.
I think that's probably a little bit more complicated than what they have in mind. Mostly because Final Fantasy 14, you can't even play. Like, if you have an account on PS4, you can't play it on the PC. I think you could play with PC players, but if I'm right, if you're on PS4, you can only play on PS4.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. But I mean, it wouldn't be such a big deal, but it's kind of a bummer because it's a paid subscription service.
Yeah, it's like you paying for PSN and you paying for 14, but they won't let you play how you want to play.
Eh,
That don't make no sense.
money. Oh, it's a very minor thing from the Xbox E3. I think the biggest announcement that they thought it was the new console coming out for in 2020, which is next year.
Yeah,
I really don't think they should have
I
announced.
love I love how every time when it comes to Microsoft stuff, like I hear fanboys say, "Wait till E3, wait for E3." It's like Microsoft will come back again, destroying all the competitions and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, because they did it the first time.
The Xbox 360, and I'm just clear, it was successful because the PS3 shot itself in the foot. If the PS3 was released and marketed the way the PS4 was handled, Xbox wouldn't have been part of the market. But the Xbox 360 dominated, and that's how they even got a stamp as competition between Nintendo and Microsoft and PC gaming at like Valve and PlayStation. But when even with the 360, everybody that own the 360 will tell you their stories about the Red Ring of Death, how it was just a hassle to own an Xbox 360. And most people that really stuck and dedicated themselves to 360 were just people that were really adamant on owning people that had other consoles. Like, haha, you have a Wii
Now,
or
that's actually
PS3.
a funny story on my end because apparently, when during that generation, when it came to PlayStation 360, they both had a soldering issue, which is why we would have the infamous rings of death and the yellow lights of death.
I can't even.
So my PlayStation 4 was mine's, but then my brother messed it up, and he messed it up because he leaned it. He wanted it like the commercials, and he put it standing up. And so because he left it on standing up, the PlayStation 3 couldn't breathe because it was covering up the vent holes.
Huh.
And so eventually it died. And so I wanted to get a new system, but I thought to myself, which is funny, I thought that, okay, I want to get another system, but I don't want to get another system if my brother's just going to kill it. So ironically, thanks to the console wars, I was able to have my 360 without worrying about my brother destroyed it because my brother hates Microsoft with the passion. And I'm not talking about oh you are you mad about Windows 10 or you mad about them doing certain things on PC that a lot of people don't like. It ain't like small stuff like that. It's like, no, he would rather play. It's like if he needs to get another system to play the game, he will. Cause the funny story was big Final Fantasy fans, me and my brother. I had 13 when it first came out, but I had it for 360. But the thing was, he hated the 360 so much that he refused to play 13 until he got himself a PlayStation 3 again.
Hmm.
And it's like wow, which is a good segment to our next topic. The whole we'll get back to E3 because we're not done overall. But this is a thing. Now, to our listeners, you've been here probably once to where you always had that one guy to where it's all about Sony. Oh, it's all about PC. Oh, it's all about Microsoft or the Nintendo fans, which we be talking about here and there. They still won't give up this silly war. It's like you think they would be grateful just to be able to play games on their platform of choice. But no, they still gotta flaunt their plastic around, acting as though because they have this console that they're the superior gamer amongst gamers. Which is
Uh.
like congratulations, you have a hunk of plastic. Oh, congratulations, your plastic can do this. It has these features, while other pieces of plastic don't. It's like, oh, but I got me a gaming rig. Congratulations, you paid three to $5,000 to flat flex when you're gonna have to pay another $3,000 to $5,000 in a couple months because your parts are gonna be obsolete.
Yeah.
It's like, did I miss anything on all the platforms of choice, whether it be console, handheld, or PC?
Well, I mean, all of them have their faults. It's really
But
just.
everyone is acting like they don't have faults.
Of
I
course, it's
mean,
a people
because
will
don't
find
get me wrong, I
ways.
love Persona 5, and I like playing me some games on my PlayStation 3. But you know what I don't like? I don't like the fact that my PlayStation 3, along with my gaming laptop, they both scream when they do something.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing like 4K 660 on my laptop, that thing screaming, even when it's water cooled and shit. Nah, but just for the PCP people, I'm joking, but some of the people who actually have PCs, they get the point on you wanna you want a game, but you gotta deal with the noise. Not so much if you got a desktop, but then even if you got a desktop, you still gotta worry about water pumps and shit and worrying about fixing it immediately when that pump goes out.
I think that's really if you have that. For
Either
me,
that or idiot proofing, so no one accidentally knocks your rig down and be like, "Oops, I
yeah,
didn't see that there," and they know they see that shit
look,
right there.
everybody knows that no matter what system you side with, there's always going to be someone that doesn't like that specifically. Honestly, I was on board with PlayStation pretty much my whole life. I got a laptop for my a gaming laptop for my graduation present, and I saw the appeal of PC gaming. You know,
Yeah.
it's good to have an open mind on different consoles because of the exclusive games. And honestly, if there were no exclusive games, there wouldn't be any consoles. But that just goes into then there wouldn't be games and blah blah blah. You know, exclusivity. I It's weird. You always hear people talk about like if Nintendo sells the most consoles in this generation, Microsoft sells it in this generation, Sony, they're always gonna be pumping out. There every so often they'll pump out an exclusive that will sell that console like hotcakes. And with PC, the best thing about PC for me is preservation. I like the idea that maybe we get to all these games that we've lost were lost to the test of time can be either emulated or re-released on Steam or I guess if you can say Epic or Origin, but mostly I would say along the lines of Steam. I think the only downside for me with PC is that right up now was that there's more marketplaces opening up, which sucks because Valve,
I don't want to have all this knowledge.
yeah,
I just want. It's not to say that I want a monopoly, but at the same time, I don't want to. I don't want to go to Oracle to play Oracle games. I don't want to
Oracle.
go to. Well, no, not Oracle or Gin. Brain fart.
Yeah, no, no, it's fine. I just like that idea. I don't want Oracle, Origin, Ball Tickler. I'm just sick of.
Ubisoft on different launchers just to play a game of choice. Like I just want to have one launcher. It's like I'd rather have it to where if you were to use a launcher, yeah, you would have to play it through their servers, but if you still using Steam or whatever else, you still can connect to them, shop through their browser and whatnot, instead of having to, just like a one client for all the storefronts.
Yeah.
That's it.
And in reality, for anybody who thinks that Epic and Origin from EA are like that's okay, like even the Microsoft store, like Microsoft has their own store, which is even worse because it doesn't have as much games as you think it does. Like it does you, like it has mobile games on it to like pad up the store. Like some of the Xbox games that are available on PC are available on the Microsoft store, but with Epic and Origin, those two have specifically made their games exclusive for the sake of making you use their DRM.
They're
Epic
just
ha-
gonna get cracked eventually.
and
If they're interested. If they're not interested, then it's like whatever.
like Epic, honestly, the only thing that their selling point is that they're getting games to become exclusive to the store, which people are being upset, because the biggest
I
one,
don't care about your store. I just want the game.
the biggest upset right now is Shenmue, right? How it got kickstarted.
Yeah,
Did you hear
yeah,
about it? It
that
got
was just that's just stupid.
For a context, Epic recently, the creator of Shenmue said that it is going to be an Epic Store exclusive, which is weird because people who kickstarted it to get a PC release were going to get it on Steam, but now it is being removed to the Epic Store, and also there's no way of refunds. It's like
Yeah.
you want Epic Store is the game where developers go, you know what? I want money right out the gate before people buy my game. Because what happens is no one's gonna buy the game on the Epic Store. No game is on the Epic Store that people can't wait for. They're basically paying for all these exclusives through Fortnite. And I've said before, Fortnite's not a bad game, but the way that Epic uses Fortnite as leverage to hold using the profits from the success of Fortnite for exclusive games it's not illegal, but it is scummy to a point where people would just be like, you know what, I'm just not going to use this Epic Store. Also, I've heard that it sells your information to Chinese stockbrokers, and if you try to buy too many games at once in the store, you can be banned for it. It's a weird system, and they don't have all the kinks fixed out of it, yet they want to get all these exclusives. It's
Yep.
just, at least with EA, it's mostly only their games that they've funded and invested in, like certain indie games that they published. There's rarely a random game from a random developer. If it's an EA game, it's going to be on Origin if you have it on PC. They're only doing their games. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Epic is actually a lot worse than Origin, because at
Yep.
least with Origin, it's only to play EA games. There's no other games that are being held hostage other than their games. They're published by EA, they're either developed by EA or companies that are, have been funded, like indie developers funded by EA. But Epic is getting developers just cause. Discord even sells games, and no disrespect to Discord, but that's just way too many things you have to leave on. And I know you can close them if you don't want to use them. I get it. Like somebody's gonna justify that you don't need to have all of them running. But Blitz,
But I shouldn't need all of them to play multiple games. I mean, if I were, I mean, how do I put it? I have perfect thing for the Switch. Switch has like a lot of ports, but I don't need to go through different storefronts just to get the port. If I want to get the port, I just put the port on my Switch and call it a day.
yeah,
No,
and like Nintendo is probably the best when it comes to their storefront, because at least you know what you're getting. You're getting either Nintendo games or indie games. Every so often you'll get games that are like Wolfenstein and Doom that shouldn't run on the Switch but miraculously do. And for me, it's just like, guys, I understand. I love the Switch. I love Smash Brothers. I like playing these games, but you couldn't have me at gunpoint saying I play Doom 2016 on the Switch if I had a choice between PC or Switch. Switch is
yeah,
good for the Nintendo games. If you're telling me, oh, but you can play but I like the idea of playing Doom on the go. It's like, I don't give a shit. I barely play games. I barely play the Switch. I barely take it with me. And like, I don't want to play the games that I could be playing on a comfy in the comfort of my own home, just because, oh, if I'm out and about, like I can miss playing Doom if I brought my Switch, because all I'd be really doing is playing Smash
man,
Brothers.
it's like sometimes I bring my Switch with me, but that's not. It's like not all the time because I'm more paranoid. Knowing that someone might just roll up and take the thing.
Yeah, but like I said, it's even if you brought it with you, chances are you're either playing Breath of the Wild or I just said Smash Brothers. Rarely will you play any other game on the Switch because there's no
Speaking of
point.
which, I am looking forward to Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah, I think we should go back to the E3 thing. I guess we'll just jump into Nintendo's because that's pretty much what everybody's waiting for. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Banjo for Smash. Hooray!
Yeah.
I'm not even being sarcastic. I generally think that's a good thing. Banjo fans deserve it. He's a Nintendo 64 icon. It's almost
I wonder
heresy
if
that
we'll
they
get like the 360 versions of Banjo, like 1 and 2.
there is 360 versions of them.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if they'll port that over to the Switch.
I maybe
That would be interesting.
Microsoft games getting on the Switch is more likely than anything with PS4, only because Microsoft has been.
At this point, they don't care. They just want you to. They just want you to invest.
Yeah, and in a way,
That's how games are supposed to be handled.
yeah. I don't trust Microsoft to a full point because they almost shut down Platinum with Scalebound. So
Yep.
I'm very cynical in what their actions are, but when they do stuff like this, little things, little by little, I'm like, all right, Microsoft, all right, okay. But you almost killed one of the best hack and slash action developers of our generation, and that's not forgivable.
Yep.
That is and I know there's some people that'd be like, oh, not.
I mean, they don't. It's like they say they got studios, but no one's gonna convince me that the people that made DMC Don't Make Cry is a good thing. It's just not.
And yeah, Ninja Theory kind of just is like everyone liked Hell's Blade or Hellblade
What
or
you
whatever,
mean?
but it wasn't.
You mean God of War?
Yeah, it's just a cookie. It's just like a very bare bone like. It's ambitious, but I mean that's what they had to do because they kind of almost the DMC remake almost destroyed them. But the problem was they they didn't pander to the DMC fans.
Instead, they fought with the DMC fans and wondered why no one likes this game.
It doesn't matter who you are. If you are handling a well-beloved franchise and you're doing it to a way where most fans don't like it, it doesn't matter how many people say I don't think it's a big deal. I'm going to play it because that will never top the ratio. You try making.
I mean, it'd be like giving Kingdom Hearts to EA, and it. And you already know how bad that could get.
Yeah, or any like if Kingdom Hearts was ever made by a Western release, it'd be as terrible as you think it'd be. But that's not even. I'm getting off topic. We should probably segue back to the Nintendo E3. Also, the Dragon Quest characters. When I say characters, I mean they're just alternate skins. It's not like they all have different abilities.
I honestly don't care about the protagonist. Yes, I said that I play multiple RPGs. Fight me.
Well, I don't even think that. I'm not surprised. I was pretty sure that they were going to get Dragon Quest just because of some of the rumors. I just felt like if any of the rumors were true, the Dragon Quest one was going to be more likely. The Banjo-Kazooie one, I didn't think they would go through with it because I don't know. Some part of me thought it was going to really be Minecraft. It was Microsoft.
That's another thing. People want Minecraft guy in there. I'm like, no.
No, they want the same people want Goku. They want these weird reps that have nothing to do with anything.
You get what I'm saying? Because I was like, what did Steve do for the industry? Oh, a lot of people like Minecraft, but what did that do for the industry?
Well, no.
It's easy for someone to have a popular game, but what does it do? I mean, Dragon Quest and Square Enix, like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy shaped Japanese RPGs and made them popular for the East and the West.
Okay, so in terms of Minecraft doing like Minecraft, to say that it didn't change the industry, I gotta disagree with you. It did somewhat upstart things. Like it made, if your game didn't have open world crafting survival in the year 2010, around that era.
But crafting is not really a new thing to begin with.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was a new thing or an old thing. It's just that the Minecraft had that weird way of getting people to continue playing it. It's not about it being unique. It was just that it just happened to have a massive appeal to a wide audience, and it's so like I could see Microsoft from
It
around that
sold, but
era.
what did it do for the industry? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what major thing did it accomplish to
I just told you,
where we
most
take
games
advantage
started
of?
implementing open world and crafting survival in their games, even if the game didn't have that in the earlier titles. Like Dead Space 3 added crafting and survive. Like if your game wasn't an open world survival game around the era of
I mean, I see
2010.
crafting more or less as just updating your arsenal. That's
Oh,
about
I
it.
know. I'm not saying that it made a
That's
good
not really a big
turnout.
deal. It's like, oh, I just grinded a sword.
I'm just
Oh,
saying.
I can make my own parts with the sword.
I'm not even saying it was like. I'm just saying that it made the AAA industry because it was just a few guys from Sweden that made that game,
I mean, I
and
guess
remember indie
if you're
games weren't.
saying pioneered a genre, I would disagree because the
No, I'm
genre
not
has
saying
already
that. I
been
am saying
there.
that
But
an indie
yeah,
developer, like a no-name studio, became this worldwide phenomenon that everybody knows. And the guy who Marcus Pearson, aka Notch, sold it to Microsoft for $4 billion. How many other indie games can you say that a big company like Microsoft will buy it for $4 billion? If that's not it, like it may not it's not to say that it changed the industry, but it made history in the industry. It being
uh,
in a Smash Brothers rep, highly unlikely, but I could see Microsoft thinking about doing that. But because of Phil Spencer kind of listening and kind of getting feedback, I can see them doing Banjo over Minecraft. So
yeah, which I'm fine with that
yeah,
personally.
I'm grateful. It's great because
I mean, because
Banjo is a Nintendo character. Rareware was a Nintendo company. It felt like they were more of a Nintendo company.
Rareware actually competed with Midway back then with Killer Instinct and all these other powerhouse house games, along with collaborations
And
with Nintendo.
in a better timeline, Nintendo would have bought Rareware instead of Microsoft. But
Yeah,
Microsoft bought Rareware and they thought that they can get that, you know, the Nintendo quality that they released, but
but it didn't work that
it
way.
yeah, most of the developers, the heavy hitters of Rare left. All the people from Rare that you see today that work at Rare are not the people that made those games that you remember. They didn't make GoldenEye. They didn't make Killer Instinct. They didn't make Banjo Kazooie. They're just the guys that
And
they
now they
helped
just
with
have
it,
the
but they
title.
weren't
They have the titles under their belt, but that's it. They just have the titles.
like Grant Kirkhope was the guy who did the music of Banjo Kazooie. The fact that people know him by name show how much he's made an impact in terms of music with Banjo and Donkey Kong 64. Did he do Donkey Kong 64? I'm not sure. No, I think that was another guy. But Banjo Kazooie, everybody knows about Banjo Kazooie. If you had a Nintendo 64, chances are you've heard of Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah.
He's a good rep for in terms of a Nintendo because he's more of a Nintendo character than anybody that they were speculating. Really surprised that people thought that Goku and Sora had a chance.
Yeah, that's just dreaming.
I
I
know,
mean,
I
I
know.
love Kingdom Hearts, but that'd be a left field that I'll lose my stuff if that
And I know
did
someone's
happen.
gonna
But
say,
I'm not.
but
But at the same time, I'm not expecting it to happen.
yeah, and a lot of people, for anybody that thinks Joker was unlikely, you gotta understand that I think even
Sakurai loves Persona 5,
yeah,
so
yeah, there's story behind why
obviously.
it was on there. So miss me with
Cause I didn't think he was going to be in the game too, but then I heard Sakurai love for it and how during the cycle he kept playing. I was like, oh, okay, that
yeah.
makes
So
sense.
and Cloud, that was Square Enix. Sega was Sonic.
But
So
Cloud has like a special history too because seven was supposed to be for the Nintendo 64, but then when Nintendo tried to have a monopoly over, they still didn't want to let go of it. And when Square said, "Hey, we'll make it for you. We just need something bigger." And okay, we'll do CDs. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, the CD platform is failing. I guess you had to use cartridges. And Square was like, "No, we're just going to PlayStation."
Yeah. Anyway, but I'm just I think that's Breath of the Wild 2 was the other thing. The only thing I really saw from it on my Twitter feed was everybody just like, oh, making, I guess a good guy Ganon.
Mm,
You can't make the Prince of Darkness good.
that's a no. That could be interesting, but with how Nintendo handles their game, they wouldn't do it.
Look,
And I know they wouldn't do it.
it's an
I'm
yes.
still waiting
I'm
for them to have a female incarnation of Link in an official game. So yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. For me, on a personal note, as somebody who plays as Ganon in Smash and just likes Ganon as a character,
I mean, they could do a lot better story narrative of Zelda if they wanted to, but they're afraid to do that.
but
I mean, because do keep in mind, we just now got voice acting.
yeah, I know everything that's almost basic practices in other games is a whole new world for the Legend of Zelda. But all I'm saying is I don't like the idea of good Ganon. It's just a bunch of horny artists on Twitter that are drawing hot Ganon the way they think, and it's just like if you
Which
don't like if you
I
don't
can
think
I can
Pig Ganon
understand you
from
on that argument, but it could be when I think of good Ganon, I'm thinking more lines of them having to fight a bigger threat than themselves. Like say for instance, like you know the usual story of oh you know that he's always gonna fight Ganon. That would be an interesting switch if all the Triforce heroes united to fight a greater threat,
they
whether
did.
that
It was
be
the subspace
whether that
emissaries.
be ah, I'm not talking about Smash. I'm just talking about in Zelda folklore. That'd be
That's
interesting.
no, it's canon. Sakurai said it himself. It's canon. Like Zelda, Link, and Ganon teamed up to defeat whatever his name. I don't even. I don't even. I never played Subspace Emissary. I just know there was like a scene where like he sort of teamed
I
up
mean,
with.
it wouldn't even have to be them fighting Majora. It would be like a brand new original Zelda villain that presents its own unique threat to the world, to where he doesn't care about the Triforce. He just wants typical world domination, but how he goes
Okay,
about it
fine. He can
is
be. I don't care if he's a good guy. It's just that everybody wants him to be like
serious.
hot, and it's just like Ganon's
Dude,
like.
if you girls, if you want that, go rule 30. I'm there you
Look,
go.
if you don't like the idea of Pig Ganon, then you don't deserve Sexy Ganon. This is like miss me with that, all right?
Like I
Ganon.
said, we got rule 30 34 for ladies. Have fun.
No, but I'm just saying like a good Ganon. Like there, I don't like the idea of having a good guy Ganon. It would.
Mhm.
I can see them doing it, but we all know what's gonna happen. It's because it's supposed. It was.
Surprise, he's evil. Now you got to
Yeah.
defeat
Oh wow.
him.
He's
But
like.
that's what I'm trying to say. They can have an interesting narrative, but they won't do the interesting narrative on the grounds that they want to be safe. That's Nintendo's problem. They do stuff, but they rarely take the risk to get a better result.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is that I'm okay. As far as risks, this is the only one I'm okay with them not taking. I don't want to give those people the satisfaction of like, oh, because where were they when Ganon was like just cool for being evil? All these
Yep.
fake Ganondorf fans coming out being like, oh, please Nintendo. It's like shut up, all right? Like Ganon is
But you know where this is stems from, right? Supposedly they were supposed to have Ganondorf and Majora's Mask as a chill dude, and so that's where this conversation sparks from because they figured, what would happen if he was good?
Or even like there was even a
Now,
small
half
bit
the
of dialogue
people
in
are
Wind
going off
Waker.
of that, but the other half just wants porn. So,
Yeah, but and it's funny because everyone's like it'll change, like it can be a new twist, but every like comic I've seen, he's doing like generic good guy stuff. Like if he was chaotic good, like he thinks about like he
that would be interesting if he was
yeah,
chaotic good, to
like if he
where he does some crazy stuff, but it turns out in the end it was all to stop that bigger threat.
yeah,
And it,
to control the evil from destroying the world, he burned the power Triforce of power in order to, maintain a natural order. So whatever,
of evil. That'd be
yeah.
interesting.
So like
But for him to be like pretty much like what you said, I'm gonna fight for justice. No, no,
like
no,
he
no.
no he murders people
You
that do
not.
crimes.
No, Ganondorf is not Batman. No.
Whatever, but who knows? I could be wrong. They could like
Now we had our good part with Nintendo, bruh. What'd you think about that Final Fantasy VII?
cool.
I'm hyped.
I don't really have.
I am seriously hyped for that game.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
I mean, they already got my money. I don't care if this is only one part of many other parts.
Yeah, and you know what? I'd rather have it than that way than them rushing the entire development of the entire game and it just be this hollow
I
experience.
mean, they're not gonna fit seven on one game. The only way they're gonna fit seven on one game is if the console division switches over to hard drives and Final Fantasy VII is about 2 terabytes. That's the only way for you to fit Final Fantasy VII into a whole entire game.
I can see Final Fantasy VII being a 2 terabyte game or something because Final Fantasy 15 is like 90 gigabytes and it's only um it's only a single player game. I mean, they added a lot of stuff with the DLC, but it's bigger than the.
Online was interesting. I mean, and I'm not saying that oh the online is amazing. That's going to be the future. It's like no, their ideas were interesting to where you don't have to play online, but it's there.
Yeah.
So, but going back to seven, oh, I mean it's 15 with Crisis Core elements in there, which I'm
Yeah.
down for.
Yeah. It looks interesting. I'm kind of glad they're going through with that.
And for once, Cloud is not an emo piece of shit.
Yeah. No. Every. But I mean, like, you can't really ruin his character again. Like, they'd have to re-alter the the
I mean,
story.
because post Final Fantasy seven, Cloud had a reason.
Yeah.
I
It.
mean, because all the stuff he went through seven, that would break a person. So that would make sense why he was brooding post seven. But during seven, it's like
And you gotta
no,
understand. Nomura likes that kind of stuff too. He likes all the emo, edgy stuff. If you see like, and what's
it
great
can
about him,
work.
what's great
It
about
can
him is
work
that
because of the context of Cloud, but not now.
yeah,
Because we all know Cloud, he had hope in Crisis Core, and his hope got crushed in seven because of Sephiroth. And then post seven is where we get all the emo jokes and all that because he had PTSD and shit.
yeah, and it's funny because I'm not defending Advent Children because that's mostly what people are referring to emo Cloud, Advent Children's version of Cloud. But near the end of the movie, he he
He
gets
got
better.
over it.
He
He
gets
got
better.
over it
Like
because
he
like, you
becomes
know
a little
what?
bit of
I'm
his
gonna
old
make me a
self.
business to get over it.
Like if they continue, like if let's say if they made more movies like that, he probably would have been his old self if they continued off of that. So people, Advent Children was just like that was the story of brooding Cloud getting over it, which is
Yeah.
weird because it's just like people were like, "Oh man, he's so fucking emo." It's like, yeah, but he got
He
over
had a
it, dude.
reason to. I
And
mean, he
eh,
saved the
one of his
world,
best
but
friends
like
just got impaled by one of his other best friends.
and then his best friend got killed by the military that he went to serve for, and then his girlfriend got killed in
No,
front of
no,
his face.
it's only your girlfriend if you picked her.
Well, no, let me correct myself. Zach's girlfriend got
There we
killed
go.
in front of his face, which he was supposed to protect, and that didn't work.
Um,
So, yeah, again, going through that ordeal, it don't matter who you are. People would have PTSD after
yeah. Okay, so me, I'm okay with all these characters right now. We're not going to see Yuffie
that.
or
Yet.
Vincent or Sid yet, though. I don't think we're going to see them for a while.
Yeah.
I think until the
Well, we'll
next
probably see
episode.
them. Yeah, when you're exploring the map and whatnot.
Yeah, so I would say the second episode. I think a lot of whatever the very first beginning, you're not going to see a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
We better see Cloud in a dress, though. That's
Yeah.
some of
And
the
watch
goofy
that be a
aspects better be intact. A lot of people are afraid of them taking out like those goofy scenes because that
You
game
know,
had a
I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, I'm not looking forward to it because you already know what's gonna happen.
what?
As soon as the cross dressing scene happens, here comes the LGBT community.
Eh.
And then here comes the people who are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Cloud's in this dress." Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna
And
have
then they're
both
gonna
sides.
be they're gonna be talking about that and just not enjoying the game, and that's gonna make me mad.
Well, I mean, all you
I
gotta
mean, because no one was thinking about that now, and then these people are gonna have fake outrage, and seriously, that's the thing that makes me and Ed mad. Like you were just saying it with Gandorf, that would be me now. To
Yeah.
where if people have an outrage, I can't believe that they're doing LGBT stuff for Final Fantasy 7. Da, 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 da. Where were you in the 90s?
Yeah.
Get out.
No, no, yeah, no. Everybody, I
Just
already
get out now.
anything that's gonna happen, any controversy that happens within the game is gonna be from people that never played the game but always talked about it because they watched YouTube videos on dissecting the story of Final
Or
Fantasy
they don't
VII.
really care about the game. They just want to be in the conversation. It's like if you don't care about the game, then why are you trying so hard to stay into the conversation? I don't get that about people. It don't matter what game you be playing. Same thing for Dragon Ball Z. We got people that that actually don't like Dragon Ball Z, but they'll pretend that they'll like Dragon Ball Z just so they can be in the conversation. And
Yeah.
they'll say, yeah, I like Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was my favorite. No, it was no, it wasn't at all. Because you keep bashing everything else, but that's a different rant for
But
another
to be fair,
day.
some even hardcore, even DBZ fans that do genuinely love Dragon Ball Z, bash on everything else.
That's a rant for another day,
I know.
though.
Yeah, but as far as that, I think as long as you just play the game, like I think you'll be way too invested with the game to even see all that drama because they will never get to that. They'll never get that far in the game.
Oh no, they'll wait until someone else gets that far into the game, and then they'll make it a drama and say, "See, I got that
Yeah,
far,"
but by the
or
time
they'll
that
get
happens,
someone
you already
stage
beaten the game or
say,
something. You already beaten the episode.
"Shoot, I already, this isn't the big deal because I've already beat the game, combed the landscape left and right. I got Knights of the Rounds. I got, yeah, I did a lot in that game. Like I put Persona time in that game.
Well, I mean, it's the biggest RPG of all time. Like people will.
But But ironically, though, it's still not my favorite. That goes to Final Fantasy 8. Fight me in the comment section.
Which one?
8.
8. Oh,
Yep.
I'm not like that's what.
Which going back to E3, I'm happy. I'm honestly hyped and happy for both 7 and 8 because I thought they just stopped caring about 8 entirely, but then Final Fantasy 8 remaster. And it's like I am happy.
You know what a
I
lot of
can't.
people
I
don't
could have.
talk
I
about?
couldn't ask for it for any more. I got the remake for 8, and I got the remaster. Well, I got the remastered for 8, but I got the remake for 7, so I can't ask for anything else.
Yeah. You know what I'm not seeing a lot of people actually talking about?
But I
How
mean, the only thing that would blow my mind is if they were to either pretty much if they were to bring back the bouncer or freaking give us a remake of Musashi.
Yeah, Square could. Well,
That would have been perfect.
Square can do whatever they want at this point.
Yeah.
They can release a video of a hamster on a treadmill, and that's the whole game. But everyone would be like, well, they did release Final Fantasy VII Remake, so you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, what I was gonna say was is that Barrett, you know, he looked really weird in Advent Children, but like he looks.
But Bear was chill in Advent Children.
Yeah, no. His design, like
I
he was a
think, if
decent
I remember,
character. I'm talking
he
about his
became
design
a
was Like I'm talking about design wise. Like I
uh
really like how he looks in this game. Because I think they gave him like cornrows in Advent Children. I could be
it
wrong.
was alright. Like
Huh?
it wasn't too goofy or anything. It
Yeah,
was
but he didn't have I liked the way he looked. All I'm saying is I like his
I
design
he was
from
like Mr.
his original
T,
design.
but Poe says 7. There wasn't really a big threat, and he didn't have to say the planet anymore. So I was like, eh.
No, I'm just talking about like just his his way his character looks. Honestly, he was pretty decent in the movie. Every other
Yep.
character, I think everybody didn't really have a complaint other than Cloud. Cloud was like the
Yep.
biggest one everybody complained about. Everybody else was fine according to the way they reacted. Like
Yep.
Vincent can be that way. If you, he has to be that way. He's a brood. Like he's the definition of brood out of all the characters.
But again, Vincent has his reasons too because
I,
they stole his wife and created a demon
yeah,
that
I know. I
almost
played
destroyed the
George
planet.
Cerberus.
So
I played George Cerberus. That was my guilty pleasure. I thought Vincent was the coolest guy ever. I still think he's still one of my favorite characters. Um, but yeah, it's
no. Would you laugh if he did a crossover in DMC5?
I can see him do it. Like honestly, I can see him in
It would be the most
DMC.
stupidest thing ever, but
He
it
would
would work
fit more
for
than you
all
would
the
think.
wrong reasons.
He would fit. Vincent would fit. I could see him in DMC,
Yeah.
but I don't know why they would do it. But I could see them doing it. But no, I think this remake's gonna be fine as long if they're patient with it and they don't try to rush it out the door and just make a really decent game with with the hybrid element of of action RPG with a little bit of traditional. We got ourselves a really decent game.
Yeah.
It's Final Fantasy VII, people. Like, be glad. Shout outs to all the OG people who got their hopes crushed whenever they released that high def remaster trailer of the opening for the PS3 tech demo, and nothing came out of that. Remember, we thought there was going to be a PS3 remake. So
Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's just a tech demo.
if you don't know that
You make it
feeling,
look
then you
so
don't know
beautiful.
suffering.
Why are you
Right?
holding us like that?
Let the Final Fantasy VII fans have this. Yeah.
Oh, but
Speaking
it's
of,
gonna be interesting seeing on how IGN and all these other people are gonna try to figure out how to give it a negative view, and then they're gonna
look,
be
it's great.
beautiful.
See, it's perfect
It's gonna be
because
so beautiful.
it's because Final Fantasy VII will be focused on all the mainstream media that I'll be able to buy No More Heroes 3 without worrying about it like I usually, and I get to enjoy my game in peace.
Yeah. But I'm expecting that one reviewer is like, well, it was good, but I gave it a 7, and then watch that person get eviscerated.
No. It's gonna be like a YouTuber who has like
No, I'm
no
expecting
disrespect.
that from
Look,
IGN or Game Informer. I'm just
no.
waiting for
Check
one of
it.
the top 3 to mess up so they can get roasted.
Yeah, but that's no surprise. What you're gonna see is that everyone's gonna give the game like 8s, 9s, or even perfect 10s. And there's gonna be that
Yeah,
one guy.
because they be gonna be scared if they don't the fan base is gonna maul them.
Well, I mean, wait, well, that's like kicking the hornet's nest. But I mean, there's gonna be somebody out there who's just like Final Fantasy VII. The title's gonna be called Final Fantasy VII. You know, the hype wasn't worth it, and it's gonna have like a Metacritic score of like 24 or something. It's just like I know, and then he's gonna say the exact same thing that you're like we say or heard. Now I know that I'm gonna be destroyed for making this video, but I think I have to go and say it. Final Fantasy VII remake isn't as good as everyone thinks, or they're gonna be well constructed
Yeah,
and be like, gonna be like, Oh, and then the comments were like, "Wow, you made some really good points, and I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that way." It's like,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like you
no
say
doubt.
that, and I say Psycho 9 wasn't as good as people made it out to be.
It's a very average platformer. I tried playing it, like, and it's
I
it's
mean,
not
kudos for them
bad.
getting the sequel and
Like,
all, but it's not. This is not game breaking. You've changed history.
there's some honestly, there's so many indie games that have come out that Psychonauts and games like it out of the water. Final Fantasy VII, if it came out in this era, it would have been destroyed by every other
Yeah.
RPG. Like even if Square Enix just kaput ceased to exist, you'd be surprised how many games out there that redefined their own genres. And even if they're just as like Dragon Quest is traditional as fuck. Like
Dragon Quest, I'd say, sort of harkens back to the days of Ultima and whatnot, to where everything was like a dungeon crawler. You had a first person perspective, and you didn't know what was going to happen. So I can respect them for that. So yeah.
it's just it's traditional at its core, and I just think people need to understand that there's an appeal to that. For not
Yeah.
going to trying new things. So many corporate like AAA games, so many Western developers or even Japanese developers go out of their way to change a game that people beloved that was a beloved franchise just to earn a market that wouldn't even given it the time of day, even if it gave them everything they wanted. I think people need to understand that just because the game tries something new doesn't mean it's going to be great. Final Fantasy can work with action RPG elements, but I think Kingdom Hearts kind of
I mean, they speaking of
perfected
Kingdom
that.
Hearts, bruh. They have DLC, but I don't know what to say about the DLC. See, because three, like I enjoyed three, but three just doesn't have the oomph that two had, and that
Listen,
that and I'm being honest. I'm taking off my nostalgia goggles to say that yes, they had more mechanics from. Apparently, three is Dream Drop Distance 2.0.
sort of,
That that
yeah.
that's what it feels like to me. It's now, which is fine to still have flow motion mechanics, but what everyone was looking forward to was combining flow motion with the drive forms, in which they tried to do that with the keyblades, but I still prefer the drive forms.
Yeah, honestly, I will be lying to myself if
I
I didn't
mean, because
enjoy
don't
3.
get me wrong, I enjoy three from a story perspective. And yes, I know what's going on in the story because I've
I
actually
think
played
people
all
were
the
being a
games,
little too
even
I
if
think
it's
people were
all
going
over the
out of their
place. I
way.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, like this story is not that complex, people. There's, what's funny? When I listen to people's rants on Kingdom Hearts 3, everything that they complained about was there. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like I get it. Kyrie was underutilized, but I mean, she's not the main character of this story. Like, yeah, I get it. It'd be cool to have some her like fighting,
I
but
mean, maybe she'll be fleshed out in the next one.
maybe she'll get DLC. But I mean, guys, it can't. It's a good way. It honestly, 3 is a good chapter closer for the series.
And it gives leeway for the series to continue on because now Sora got something to do besides just like,
And
hey guys,
I think people were genuinely upset that they left the story open so that they can continue the series.
which they said the
Is
Xehanort saga was going to be over,
Yeah, the Xehanort
which
saga.
now we're getting into a new saga with the Master of Masters.
Square Enix would be crazy to just up and leave the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and even
And
if that
but,
was
but be
supposed to
be
end it,
honest, you think Disney's gonna skip out on free money?
no, they're not.
So yeah,
And who knows? Maybe that'll give us more options. Maybe Disney will be more lenient with their franchises, and
yeah.
we'll see where we go from there. I mean, I think the big people were complaining that there weren't Final Fantasy characters, and it's just like, well, I
I
mean,
still want them to come back because
no, yeah, but would they have
It just
really
doesn't
made
feel
an
right not
impact?
to have them.
Yeah,
I mean, because yes, Disney had their stories, but it felt nice having side stories with the fantasy characters post games.
who knows?
Like, say,
Maybe
for
they will.
instance, you had Squall trying to look for Renoa, and then you had the Final Fantasy characters to where Aerith didn't die, but they still trying to figure out the problem that is Sephiroth of the Darkness. That was an interesting side story. And it gave you good reason to fight with Final Fantasy characters, or whenever in Birth by Sleep, to where Aqua was fighting in the conversation, and then Zack asked her to go on a date. I was like, yeah, you get what I'm saying? It's a good back and forth that make Kingdom Hearts what it is. But when the creator says they don't need the characters anymore, it's like, without the characters, what do you have but a bridge stories with Disney? I mean, because if I wanted to watch Frozen, I would go with my girl, like get the kids watch it.
Disney money? What is Square Enix? If Disney said get rid of all the Final Fantasy characters, Square Enix wouldn't even hesitate.
Yeah,
Like Disney money's not to be messed around with.
yeah.
So who knows, guy? Like, but either way, I think we've gone off the rails for every single conversation, but that's okay. Um, what there was something else in the Nintendo release. Oh, hey, um, I said No More Heroes, but that was kind of like as quick as I mentioned that. That was pretty much just yeah. Every No More Heroes like is it's just like it's a little blip on the radar, but I'm kind of glad that Nintendo is kind of giving it more respect to even give
I'm
it an
still
E3
surprised
release.
Travis is not in Smash.
Cause they would take
Two
away they would
games
take
and
away his charging beam katanas animation. And what would be the point of the game if you can't have that?
we have Bayonetta in the game.
Yeah, but she doesn't do her like she's not fully new. They altered her a lot.
But that's my point. We
Yeah,
can't
but
have M-rated characters in the game. We have
but she still has most like her signature. Her signature stuff is still there. She still looks like Bayonetta. She does her
Zero
attack
Suit
wicked
Samus
weaves.
anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, Travis literally has a masturbatory joke. Like that's so like you can't even mask it. If you get rid of
And
that,
Bayonetta says fuck off. Again. they can figure it out.
yeah, but it wouldn't be fun. I can see them doing it. If Travis does get in, I'll eat my hat, but I don't see it. And I'm not even downing. Like Travis is a cool character. He was like I played No More Heroes 1 and 2. I've yet to play Travis Strikes Back because I want a physical copy. And the only person I know that owns it bought it digitally like a heathen. But yeah, but I've seen it's funny because he bought No More Heroes knowing that Travis Strikes Back is a love letter to Suda 51 fans.
Which I couldn't care about Strikes Back. Because I was
do.
like, you make it an in-between game. I don't want the in-between game. I just want the 3.
Well, if that in between game didn't sell, we wouldn't get 3.
Yeah, which it proved that people still want it. So
Yeah, Suda 51 keep making games. I know a lot of people didn't play Let It Die, but it was still pretty good for what it was. No More Heroes 2, pretty real fun. No More Heroes 1, Killer 7, got a PC port. You know, Suda 51 is getting the recognition he finally deserves. It's all paying off. He's,
yeah.
But my only issue is that I have is that it's being made in the Unreal Engine. And it's not that the Unreal Engine is especially 4 is not bad.
I don't know if they'll be able to utilize one.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the Switch can do Unreal, but at the same time, it can't really do Unreal. It can only do it a little bit.
Oh yeah, and WB Games or Katakawa or whoever.
I mean, because you're not gonna get like because have you seen Mortal Kombat on the Switch? and then
I've seen the screenshots of like the
you see it on the Switch, and then you see it on Xbox One, PlayStation 3. It's like, no.
it's night and day.
So if that's how Mortal Kombat looks, then how are they gonna utilize? How are they gonna really make it look good? Now you can make the argument that oh, but look at Doom. Yeah, but that's just
Doom
because
doesn't
Doom
even
was
look that
made.
great.
Huh?
It's like
Yep.
that's not a good like I just said. Doom's not a good argument. Again, most people are the argument is well I can play it on the go.
Yep.
It's like listen, if I want like I don't like
They
settling.
needed a cloud server just to run Resident Evil 7.
Is Resident Evil 7 even on the Switch?
Only in Japan on cloud.
Weird, but like it's
But that's
because
the point.
yeah, the RE engine
You
is
can't fit
amazing.
the grad. You can't get the RE engine to work on the Switch. They had to do it. They had to do it that way.
I can't even imagine Bayonetta running it. Like I can see actually no, I take that back. I can see Bayonetta 3 running at 60 frames. Platinum's weird. They'll get around it.
They'll figure it out somehow.
And the thing is that I can see them like if they didn't like if Suda got like Platinum Games to make No More Heroes, that'd be amazing. But they're
Oh.
working on the Grand Blue Fantasy game and Bayonetta 3 still.
Eh.
I'm actually curious. I might actually pick up that Grand Blue Fantasy.
Yeah, Graham, it's a good franchise. I hear a lot about it, but
I haven't seen the anime. I haven't
I
heard
haven't
anything.
delved into it, but I know it's a good franchise with how much good artwork they be drawing. Lord,
Dude, yeah, man, those characters, dude.
I don't know the story, but that fan work though, that's something to be revered.
And it's funny because, like, even when it comes to like the gacha industry, like I'd rather get into Grand Blue than Fate.
Yeah.
And I like some of the Fate characters. Like Mordred is my like. I would die for Mordred, but I wouldn't buy her. I wouldn't play the game for her.
Because people die when they get killed. But again, that's another rant for another day.
I love that.
I'm never gonna forget that. I don't care what people say.
Hey, Fate fans, don't get mad. I don't hate the franchise. I tried to get into it. I really did, but
Bro, I'm a Tsukihime fan. I know I'm never gonna get a sequel to Tsukihime fan, but damn it.
but like when I say I would get into Grand Blue, I mean I would play any of the games in the actual game. Like I'll play the fighting game and I'll play the platinum game. But you know, I'm a filthy casual, and there's nothing you can say that can get me into this series. Like,
But don't get me wrong though. I will watch some Fate spin-offs though.
yeah, I tried watching Apocrypha on Netflix again because of Mordred, but just couldn't, man. I just couldn't. It's what's the
That's
deal?
the weird thing. I can't watch the mainline series, but I enjoy the side stories more than the main story. I guess
Also,
it's
I
just
can't stand the
because
protagonists either.
I guess it's just because just I just to me, Fate is just Highlander in anime form.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
sort of. I mean, again, all the waifus in the world can't convince me to invest in that series. I will get my Mordred, Nendoroid, and figure, but as far as getting into the series, you have a better chance of getting the Colonel interested into a hamburger.
Yep.
No disrespect, it's not for me. I tried, I really did.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, I think with the gacha game, it's even worse because it's just like there's even more characters that clutter it up, and I'm like, look, if I just want one character, this ain't gonna be it for me, Chief.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But hey, at least we got. Well, no, because I'm about to say how much you want to bet until we get a Muso game with Fate. But then again, we already had the Muso game, so
Yeah, isn't it like Fate Coachella or something.
Yeah. I mean, what have they not made Dynasty Warriors of yet?
Grand Blue Fantasy.
Oh, that's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I can see them doing it. Also, they're doing Persona, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna buy it just to play as Makoto.
I'm not.
That's
Period.
it.
It's like I like Persona 5, but I just do not care about Dynasty Warriors in this time. I mean, you can put as many skills as you can put as many skills you want on Dynasty Warriors, but the the franchise is all but dead to me because what else are
I
you
I
gonna do?
never played any of the mainline Dynasty games. I've only played the
You
One
played
Piece
one, you
one.
played them all.
Yeah, I know that for a fact. Don't get me wrong. It's just that the idea of playing as your favorite characters is the only reason why people play it. I tried. I really tried to play Hyrule Warriors. I
That's
couldn't
a
stand.
waste of $60, though,
Yeah, it
man.
was. I on like
I mean,
I'm
if you
gonna
were to
be.
borrow the game for a minute, it's like, oh, that was nice for a few minutes, but that's
It's
not
a good time
something.
killer. It's not worth spending full price money on it. I could not play the Zelda Hyrule Warriors for the life of me. It was so boring, and the leveling up system was even more complicated than the One Piece one. It was just ugh.
Yeah.
It's like it kind of like what the, and the, even the I couldn't even do the Fire Emblem one. The Fire Emblem one was I think even worse just because it just had only all the current characters. It didn't even have any like I mean it did have some of the Hall of Famers, but you know most of the cast was from Awakening and Birth Conquest.
Yeah.
Fates, I meant. Whatever. But again, I will probably only play it. I might even just wait till my in-laws buy it, and I'll just play as Makoto, and then that's it, because that's all I really want to do. I can care less about the entire game. If it does costumes, though, then I'm going to be even more mad, because it's like, great, now I got to play it again. But again, only because of Makoto. You see, you put my
If I
favorite.
did play it, I would just only play it for like a little bit. It wouldn't be for like, oh, I'm getting invested in the story now.
Yeah, whew. I think we're running on Steam here, so I think we should probably call it.
Nah, I can keep going, but an emergency crisis. I said I could go a lot longer, but there's about to be an emergency quest of Fantasy Star, which I've been playing the whole time.
Yeah, I think we already kind of got all through the main highlights of E3. I mean, we kind of skimmed over Banjo and Dragon Quest. We mentioned them a bit, but we didn't really go into full detail. But what? There's not really much detail in. If chances are, if you saw the E3, you know what happened. You're hyped for it. You're excited for it. We don't have to say much anymore.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think it's getting closer to Acon. I'll be going to Dallas for the convention called known as Acon. So that'll be another trip to Dallas that I'm sort of excited for. But
You think you'll be able to miss the traffic this time, or you gotta take that weird long way?
no, I think we're not going to because with the last convention was that we had to go into Dallas to get to Irving. So in this one we're just going to Dallas, so we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because the convention is in Dallas rather than it being outside of Dallas.
Can you do me a favor and take some pictures of the area? Because apparently, word on the street is Akon is too ghetto. But then I looked at a full photo of it. I'm like, what? What? This is your definition of ghetto?
I don't
It's
know,
like
dude.
no, it's like when people said that they wouldn't go to Akon because it was ghetto. I was expecting it to look like something from what you would see on Don't Be a Menace to Society,
No,
all run
listen.
down and
If
whatnot. And I was like, man, this place looks like a freaking college campus. Like, what are y'all talking about?
I don't know. I think it's because the most conventions are in like convention centers or like big areas. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I've been to I've been to a lot of parts in Texas, and I don't like Dallas's roads, but overall the city doesn't look that bad. I mean, every city has its bad areas, but you're not. It's if it's not L.A., your whole like the homeless situation and the ghetto kind
Or
of aspect,
Detroit, but
huh?
or Detroit.
Yeah, if you're not like there's some areas, since even in our city, where even around where we live, it's just, but it's not as bad as people think it is.
Yeah.
Like a few years ago, I went to San Antonio and the Riverwalk. I remember that being like around the early 2000s. I remember that being the the place to go, and now and we went to it at night, just to walk. And there was just homeless people just sleeping there. I swear, I freaked out because I didn't like jump or anything, but my heart kind of beat because I thought he was dead. But he was just asleep. But I was like, oh shit. So that was,
Yeah, real life be that way
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. I think people need like even when Matsuri had it, like I heard some like just you'll always run into people that are that are beggars or anything. That's what happens when you go outside. Like people, it's like there's always gonna be people that are like that. But I don't think that I think I hope it'll be fine. It should be fine. Like I can't
But
imagine going to San Diego for the Comic Con. Like it would be
yeah,
fun, but that's just too many people. I'm
that'll be
okay with smaller
just
conventions. I've been more chill with smaller conventions because it less people means just more people, like that means a lot more people get to experience everything.
yeah. But then the bigger it gets, the more money it costs and expenses. Yeah, but again, it's like this is the E3 podcast, and we gave all our impressions. So
Yeah,
that said, I am the co-host, me Mug.
and I'm at Tama 23, and we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good night.